personal well-being that my brain needs really help in terms of its basic core design is not really meant for maximizing happiness. So I said I need to train myself. And the first thing I realized was I was waking up miserable. So when we wake up in the morning, and the second part is attention practices, how long does it take for your mind to start into, relationships or something else right after you wake up? Is it like 20 minutes or less than 5 seconds? 20 minutes, somebody said. Oh, their nose grew longer for sure. For most of us, it's very quick, right? What should I do? What should I dread? I realized, and we know that when we wake up, our adrenaline goes up and our steroids go up and we have higher risk of heart attack and stroke and sudden death first thing in the morning. So I said, I need to change that. So here is my invitation to you. My invitation to you is when you wake up tomorrow morning, before you leave the bed, think of these 3 people you just thought about, and send them your silent gratitude for being in your life. Let's practice this together. It's a very simple practice. It's about 2 minutes long. So I invite you to close your eyes and I'll take you through this practice. So please close your eyes. It's what we call the morning gratitude practice. So imagine you're waking up in the morning. Try to recall the color of the floor where you woke up. Think about the first person in your life who matters a lot to you. Recall that person's face. And then send that person your silent gratitude for being in your life. Second person, go back to the first memory of this person, the first time you saw him or her. Then send your silent gratitude. Third person, look into the eyes of this person and notice the color of the eyes. Then send your silent gratitude. Go back in time and look at yourself when you were 8-year-old. Recall your hairstyle at that time. It's okay to smile. Then send a warm hello to your 8-year-old self. Think about someone who has passed away, who you loved. Give that person a virtual hug. And then send silent gratitude to that person. When you are ready, you can open your eyes. So the first person I usually think about when I wake up is my wife, and we've been married 25 plus years, and I think about one good thing she has said or done in the last few days. And I send her my silent gratitude so she knows by the time I'm meeting her in the morning that I'm not grumpy. I've already been grateful towards her. That has completely transformed our mornings, and she gives the same back to me. And that good energy then goes to our children. The same thing can be applied at work. You can include your work colleagues in your gratitude practice, or one of the things that I do, like today morning, I was going to have a tough phone call, so I just meditated on the people I was going to talk to, And I reminded myself, why am I grateful to these people who I'm going to chat with? And it completely changed the flavor of the phone call. So preparing yourself, Thanksgiving is coming, Christmas is coming, New Year is coming. You are going to meet some people who you may not fully agree with, to put it simply. And so if you preemptively plan gratitude for them, I think the interaction will go much better. So one suggestion is to take a Post-it note, write the word gratitude on it, stick it to your bathroom mirror. If you forget this practice, find yourself in the bathroom. When you see that note, then go back to bed and start over. So it becomes a habit. So, yes.
Well, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm just thinking of myself. In the morning, when I don't get out of bed until I've said my prayers. So it's like you're meditating or whatever, but I want to say my prayers, and then I want to stretch, and then I want to get out of bed. I don't want to just jump out of bed like I would have as an 8-year-old that had no concept of anything. In my mind, back then, I can't imagine I was like nothing. You know.
Sure.
No awareness as far as I'm concerned. But I'm saying now, as I'm older, it's like, okay, there's a process to this, We don't just run around fast. I mean, I need to get, one thing at a time, But that's my routine. It's just to pray in the morning before I get out of bed, and then sit up and stretch, and then get out of bed. And then I'm like, okay, good to go.
And that's great. I mean, this is another version of that. And you can certainly add prayer to this. You can, before you start your day in the morning, when you're grateful for the people and sending your gratitude, assume that you're protecting them for the week by sending them gratitude. That will keep you going, and it'll deepen your practice. It'll also create a little guilt the next day if you don't do it. That's a good way to keep going. So yeah, having a routine in the morning so that your attention doesn't straight go into wandering mind is a good idea. And it doesn't always have to be loved ones. It can be colleagues, friends, neighbors, pets. Pets are welcome because they are family. Any other question about or comment about this gratitude practice? It took me 10 years to develop it. I was thinking about nature and body and success and this and that, and I realized, well, I'm being judgmental here, but boring. When I thought about people are never. I can think about my dad's eyes, a million times. I can hold my babies, my daughters in my arm, a million times, and be in the OB room when they were born, and I don't get bored. And if you're, sometimes people have said, I don't have 5 people or 3 people, and that's sad, but if that is the case, I tell them to think about all the ladies who came for your mother's baby shower before you were born. So you can be creative about who you're grateful for. Okay? So this is the first practice. We're taking control of the attention. What happens is the moment we wake up, we give back control of our attention. But this is a micro way, this is a rum moment to take control of the attention. So we give back control of our attention right when we wake up, and the morning gratitude practice can make the attention stronger, can enhance relationships, and can decrease loneliness. As you know that our society, 40 to 50% of people have perceived loneliness, and perceived loneliness equals smoking 15 cigarettes a day in its impact on our well-being. And it can also provide uplifting emotions. Is it only for the morning? No. It can be practiced at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Has to be practiced with 5 people? No, not always with 5 people. 3, 2, 1, whatever works the best for you. Can include work colleagues and generally takes a short period of time. Here is what I would love for us to do. It will clog the bandwidth of the internet here, but I would love for you to send a very short text or note to someone who really you care about, but you haven't connected with this person. Think about someone who you really care about, but you haven't connected with this person. So, and use your smartphone to send them a note in the next 1 minute. Okay? Let's do that. Okay, nice. Thank you. I sort of try to do this during the day, perhaps once or twice, but not every day. And I almost always get reply from this person who you remember saying, I was going through the toughest day of the year or something. And people are struggling. And if you just send an authentic, connection, love, I think they resonate with it, they value it. Love is of two types. One is love, which is love, intimate love with loved ones, but there is love 2.0, which you can have with everybody. You can have it with your cab driver, you can have it with airline agent, your hairdresser. This is authentic human-to-human connection with another human being. So, which leads to the second part, which is what we call attention practice, 2-minute rule. So the first part of the whole program was becoming aware of how our brain operates, the focus, fatigue, fear. Now we're trying to find solutions. The first solution is right when we wake up, we spend the first 2 minutes in control of our attention by focusing it on gratitude for our loved ones. So I'm only taking 2 minutes of your time. The total time I'll take out of your day is about 4 minutes, not more than that. That's all. I hope you have that much time during the day. If not, then there's a problem. Then you have a problem in your life. We need to examine. The second, I'll take 2 minutes of your time is what we call the 2-minute rule. So 2-minute rule is giving 2 minutes of undivided attention to someone in your life who deserves that attention but is not getting it. Are there any couples here for me to pick on? Any couple? There's no brave couple that'll come forward? Okay. All right. Thank you. So let's say you both were sitting in the cafeteria having coffee, and your high school buddy shows up. Who is going to be more interesting? Will it be him or your high school buddy you haven't met for 30 years? Why is that? Yeah. And same for you, sir, right? We don't want to create a fight here. Thank you. Yeah. So here's the thing. You are, I'll just skip that. So you are there. So between the two of you is love. Between you and your high school buddy is novelty. So the way human brain operates, novelty beats love 100% of the time. That's a tricky design if we want to maximize happiness, right? This is a family that really loves each other. You don't see it because they don't find each other novel. Novelty fades. It naturally fades. This is an example of novelty. Simple. Convergence of attention towards the same thing. And even though he's giving instructions, drinking his wine, he's at least there, which is now. She's teaching him how to make salad. He's holding her glass of wine. That's the real story. These are all. So how do you find that novelty? Because it naturally fades. Say you haven't met for a month. You went to China for a trip. And you're meeting each other at the airport. Will you find each other novel after that gap? Yeah? So the practice is again very simple. I've been doing this for the last 8 years. Meet your family at the end of each day as if you haven't seen them for a month, by assuming they are novel. So here's what I do. I check my emails in the garage, and then I tell myself I'm going to meet some very special people I have not met for a month. And with that intention, I go inside. Sometimes I would do, okay, my 14-year-old is 1,200 days away from college. That is a wake-up call right away. That I'm not going to mess these up. So there's two things. How many of you have paused to look at the color of your loved one's eyes in the last week or two? So it's a very small number. You've missed a very simple way to cause an oxytocin surge within you. So here's again a little practice we will do. I would love for you to take out your phone and go to the photo stream and pick out some pictures of your loved ones, zoom in, and just notice the color of their eyes. So my suggestion is, within 30 seconds of reaching home, look at the color of your loved one's eyes. For 2 seconds, not more than 2 seconds. Please don't do it for 2 minutes. They'll freak out. The idea is not to shock and awe them. The idea is to engage in an authentic way. Because most of the interaction, you know how long is a typical family together at the end of the day when they come back? 90 seconds. And then they are off to whatever they were doing. 75% of the interaction happens in the first 30 seconds. That's all. So look at the color of their eyes. This is a very good way to come in physical proximity. And then what you say is very important. Two prime ideas. One is remind them they were in your thoughts. People love to know they have a healthy space in your brain's real estate. I was thinking about you when I saw this purple flower, because whatever, so remind them they were in your thoughts. That's one. Two is remind them how they were right. Honey, you were really right when you, and fill anything after that. You've got 5 minutes of undivided attention. and a humor and good story. So that's what you say. That's what, and first 2 minutes, I'm not saying you don't try to improve, for the entire evening period. That's not the idea. The first 2 minutes. The second thing, which is the most difficult part of this whole theme, this was taught to me by my ER physician colleague's wife. She said he comes from ER 8 hours, and then he's running ER at home for the next 4 hours. I'm his nurse, my kids are his interns. Let's heat up the food and clean the carpet and do CPR on mashed potatoes. So, so for the first 2 minutes when you go home, try not to improve anybody. That's going to be very hard. If they have dyed their hair pink, that's okay. If pierce their tongue, that's something, pushing it. So, because otherwise they see you as emotional predator. They say, I was feeling pretty good until mom showed up on the scene, and then I don't feel good anymore. So next time when she comes, I'll just hide in my cave, in my mind, in my social media account. Huge price to pay. You want them to associate you with feeling good about themselves. And because it's very difficult to dislike somebody who likes you. Very difficult. Did you have a question? This is not just meant for loving family. You can practice this with colleagues, with friends, with neighbors, with pets, etc. There was a question there.
What about those of us who don't no longer work and who are together most of the day?
That is precisely what I was saying, that you can practice with. What you need is an authentic connection with one person during the day for 2 minutes. This can be your neighbor, this can be your pet, this can be a loved one over the phone if you wish, or FaceTime. And not all practices are also for everybody. So it doesn't always have to be, you come back. This is just a generic idea I am sharing of having an authentic connection. What comes in the way of authentic connection is very quick judgment. Very quick judgment. When I see you, I'm quickly deciding in about 30 milliseconds whether you are safe or, how attractive a person is, etc. And we're trying to delay that judgment and have what we call radical acceptance. I accept you as you are and actually try to see you deeper. Instead of seeing you as just you, I want to see you as a dad, as a spouse, as a son, as a brother, as a neighbor, as a colleague, and so on. So seeing you in totality. That's a great, yes.
Okay, so what about the opposite, where I don't see my daughter, I don't see her hardly at all, and I want to see her, and I'm getting hyper to get to, make the contact, and then she's like, okay, mother, take a break, you settle down. I'm like, no, I just like to tell you all these things, because I never get to see you, so I could try to make it up,
Yeah.
So, how do you just settle in? When you can't see them, you're not really with them, you can't connect with them, then you just kind of overreact because you can't, it's like, okay, I'm going to get a whole bunch of stuff in here in about 2 seconds because that's all I'm going to get anyway.
Right. So the risk is you'll freak them out. You'll get them suspicious. I was going to come to that. That is a risk, that is a known side effect of this practice. I'm glad there is no drop in blood counts or GI upset. Yeah, well, again, these are all starters. What I'm sharing with you is a starter kit. My whole agenda is those 2 minutes become 2 hours very quickly before you know it. And the idea is you just practice with one person. It could be your spouse, it could be your pet, and then this becomes your disposition. This is how you connect with people. Instead of feeling afraid or judging people, you authentically start connecting with people. You start enjoying people. So unless we start enjoying people, we will not enjoy work, we will not enjoy relationships. So and what prevents us from enjoying people? Feeling judged or judging them very quickly. That's what we're trying to take away. And we are asking you to see them as novel, as interesting. Does it make sense? That's what we are getting at. Any other questions? Those are great questions. It tells me that you haven't dozed off yet, or I haven't pushed you into sleep. So the same thing can be applied at work. This is part of onboarding at Mayo. So what we say, when patients come to the clinic, they don't want to be improved. People want to be validated, and they want connection before you tell them how they can be better. So people want to be validated and to have connection. And helping others feel worthy is an equal part. Does anyone here struggle with being appreciated too much? Like,